Yo, welcome back. Another episode of Channel 914. I'm your host, as always, Rail Allen. And today, I have another illustrious guest.
Illustrious.
Yeah, I use big word. I know you're a wordsmith. You always use you're a bit of a Stephen A. Smith yourself, with the words.
Hopefully I'm not that much of a big mouth.
Yeah, nah, absolutely not. I fucking hate Stephen A. Smith, but that's a conversation for another day. But we have here Mr. Charles St. Clair, one of the owners of Black Horizon Brewing Company, and a good friend of mine, now a former coworker, but still friends.
Quitter.
But actually, man, I owe a lot to this guy right here, man. He's not only been a friend, he's been a mentor, showing me a lot. I honestly don't know if I'd be where I am if it wasn't for this guy right here.
Fake news.
And he's so humble. So humble. It's a boot. But yeah, man, seriously, man, I owe a lot to this guy. So it really is an absolute pleasure, man. I'm glad you were able to finally come on.
Well, thanks for having me on. I've been waiting forever.
Yeah, I know we did. So we did talk about this like at the beginning, and then just
you forget about me?
No, I obviously did not forget about you.
Podcast. Oh well, never mind.
It's not what happened. That's fake news. That is fake news.
Right.
But yeah, man. Once again, like I said, one of the owners of Black Horizon Brewing Company. They have delicious fucking beer.
It's high.
Yeah, it's don't once again, humble brag. Don't let them fool you. Delicious fucking beer. It's definitely one of the best beers I've ever tasted. I always said it's not. I don't say that just because we're friends and I'm trying to be nice. Because I'm the type of friend that if your shit sucked, I would say, hey man, maybe this brewing shit ain't for you. But I've never said that. I've actually said quite the opposite. Like, yeah, you picked the right thing, man. But you haven't always been a brewer,
No.
a purveyor of fine craft beers.
Let's just set the record straight. I've never been a brewer. Period.
Right, you are not a brewer.
Owner.
Brewery owner. Yeah, he does not. He does not brew the beer. Yes. That's somebody else that does it.
Every once in a while, me and Kevin will brew St. Baldas.
Okay.
So we'll brew that together. But
okay.
Other than that, no, I leave that to the professionals.
Yeah, well, at least you get your feet wet a little bit.
Wet-ish. I get my feet damp.
Well, that's moisture.
Yeah.
We're talking levels here. But you haven't always been in beer.
No, I'm not.
No, so you were a network engineer by trade.
Well, I still am. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I did say were. You still are a network engineer by trade.
Yes.
So just real quick, what led you into that? So I know you were in the Army, right?
Yes, I was. 24 big years in the Army.
24 years.
24 years. Dude, it was like a lifetime ago. I mean, it just seems like I've lived 8 lives. And each one of them is like a different thing. So
what year did you get that? Was like 06?
08.
08, okay.
Right before I started working in Sci-Fi.
No shit.
Yeah, right. Literally, like a month before I started working in Sci-Fi, I got back from Iraq.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. How was that? How was that being deployed over there?
Dusty.
A lot of sand?
Lots of sand. It is like monochrome over there. It's like brown. It's like tan. Everything's tan. Everything's covered with this like fine grit sand. Oh, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, that doesn't sound pleasant.
It was not.
Yeah. I'm sure like the war and this conflict and all that stuff didn't help either, huh?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, there was a war going on.
Yeah. It was going on for a little bit, a couple of years maybe, one or two months maybe.
That's what I was there for. I think.
Yeah. So you come back home.
I came back home.
Where in there did you become like this network engineer? What set you?
Before I went to
right.
Iraq.
So what set you on that path?
My roommate back in 96, 97 ish. My roommate worked at Bankers Life and Casualty. He was the network engineer there.
Okay.
And he got me a gig there when I came back from Hawaii. I was stationed in Hawaii for 6 months. So
better than Iraq, I'm sure.
Slightly. So when I came back from Hawaii, I was living with him and another one of my buddies, and he's like, "Hey, we got this opening on the help desk, on the hardware team, and you would be working for Johnny Williams, and so you want to interview for the job." I was like, "Sure, why not? I know this much about it." So he kind of schooled me on the computers and stuff like that. So basically, I lied my way into a job. And that is how it all got started. I was on the hardware team, so I was working on desktops and stuff like that, going from desk to desk, almost service desk type stuff. And then I got put on Ned's team. It was just him at the time, but then me and him started working together. So that's when I started doing the network engineering part.
Okay. So did he kind of show you the way?
Oh yeah. He showed me the ropes, and I learned this and that, all about the switching and routing and frame relay. Geez, back then we still had a mainframe at Bankers, so yeah.
Oh wow.
I learned all about interconnectivity of networks.
And now here you are. So how many years ago was that now?
That was like 97 I started working there. Yeah. So
you've been a network engineer for almost 30 years now.
Oh, my leg, that hurt. Oh, ouch.
But that's impressive, man. Especially considering, like the amounts of like blacks that are in tech, the amount of black people that are in tech, and especially for you to have been doing it, and that the number of has obviously increased now, but you were there when like you probably may have been like the only one, or maybe one of few.
I was in tech when it was Casper White.
Literally nobody, huh? Just you.
Ooh. Yeah, I was the black ghost.
So you were literally the token.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I did. You go to all these conventions and all this training and stuff like that. You didn't see any black people in any of those classes. It was all big fat white dudes with beards and no personalities.
Yeah, man. But and thanks to people like yourself, the imprint has grown a lot. I kind of had a similar path where I just kind of fell into it, and managed to meet good people along the way like you. That showed me a few things that kind of allowed me to expand my knowledge base. So now you spent 30 years being a network engineer, and then somewhere along the line you decide that you're going to become a beer baron.
Well, baron is a strong word.
That was a Simpsons reference. You'll get it later.
Yeah, I know. But no, it was. How did it come about? So I was when I was married, I was living in Hinsdale, and I used to go to this little wine shop. I hate wine, by the way, but I used to go there with my ex-wife, now ex-wife, and it was called Village Cellar. And they had a great beer selection, and they had La Fin du Monde, which was one of my favorite beers because it was like 10%, and it was a Belgian blonde, and it was delicious.
Okay.
So and so I was really picky about my beers, and
beer snob,
yeah,
aka
a little slight beer snob. And then the lady that worked the bar behind the counter, her name was Diane.
Okay.
It's my current partner's wife, Kevin.
Oh, wow.
Kevin, his wife Diane, worked there. And so anybody would come in and not want wine and ask for a beer recommendation. If I was there, she'd say, "Hey, why don't you ask Charles? He knows a little bit about beers." So one thing leads to another. Diane says, "You should meet my husband, Kevin. He brews beer. And, maybe you guys can brew beer together." So we got together, and we brewed a beer. And I think it was March of 2013. So that's literally 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 years ago this month, we brewed our first beer, and it was St. Baldus.
Oh, so you guys just brewed already?
Yeah, we just brewed that together. It was a Belgian quad.
Okay.
And, so he was showing me the whole brewing process, and we called it St. Baldus because my last name is St. Clair, and his last name is Baldus. So there we go.
St. Baldus.
Yes.
I thought it was because you were bald.
No.
Were you bald back then?
Well, yeah. I've been bald since 91.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you guys brew
but
that?
It's on purpose. It's on purpose.
Yeah, I know. It's
I have a full head of hair.
You're one of those people that can actually grow hair. Unlike me, My days of growing hair are long behind me, but you choose to be bald.
I choose to be bald. It's easy. I don't want to sit in the barber shop for like 3 hours waiting to get my hair cut. Or,
So he's bald because he's impatient,
very.
not because of genetics.
I don't want to waste my time. I got a life to live. I don't sit there.
Yeah, you got beer to brew. What beer to sell?
Yeah, beer to sell.
Beer to sell.
Beer to sell.
Yeah. So you start with Saint Balding, Saint Baldis,
Yep.
Saint Baldis. So that becomes
that's you, Saint Balding.
touche. So you start there, right?
Yeah.
So that beer comes out and it's actually pretty good. You guys taste it. So do you give it to people, or do you have people taste it? Like, does it get a good reception? Like, how does that go?
Again, hanging out at Village Cellar, my ex-wife ran into a friend of hers from high school, that she knew, and so he came up with a proposal. One thing leads to another, and he comes up with a proposal because he knows this guy that owns this is part owner of this building called La Campana out in Batavia.
Okay.
So his ownership group wants to put something in the first floor of this massive like Art Deco factory warehouse place.
Okay.
And so he says to he says to the guy, hey, do you know anybody interested in putting a brewery in here? So he comes to me and Kevin and says, hey, you guys want to form a partnership and look at putting a brewery into this building in Batavia? And we're like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. So we started down that road, and then he brings in this other guy that he knows through family friends, Alex, my other partner, Alex.
Okay.
So now it's 4 of us going down this road to put a brewery in this building in Batavia. At the end of the day, we nixed it because at the time Batavia used well water, so we were like, nah. Because you'd have to spend money to make that water palatable.
Right.
We did not have those kind of resources. So
okay.
We were like, nah. So we said, okay, we'll look somewhere else, somewhere a little closer to home. Alex lived in Downers Grove. Kevin lived in Aurora. I was living in Hinsdale, and the other guy lived in I think he was in Willowbrook, Darien, something like that in Darien. So we figured we'd find something around there. So it took us a long time to find the spot, but we found it. We opened. The one guy dropped out, so it was just me, Kevin, and Alex. We pushed on through. We found our place. We opened in July of 2017. So
I remember. I was there.
And here we are. Today is 6 years this July, man.
Shit, it's been 6 years
I know,
already.
Is that crazy? 6 years.
So is that other guy that dropped out? Is he like kicking himself now? Do you guys send him mean text messages every now and then?
No, it was a falling out. So yeah, we don't talk that much.
Well, that sucks.
But he has been in since. He's popped in a couple of times, and just to say, congratulations, great job.
Well, that's good. Good sport. Good sport.
Yeah.
So from the point. So what year was the St. Baldis?
St. Baldis was 2013.
2013. So
10 years ago this month.
Yeah, and then 4 years to the point where you were actually able to open.
Yes.
So that sounds like a pretty arduous process.
It was a very arduous process. Look, finding the building was arduous.
Really?
Yes.
So what was like most of the hangups, or
most of the hangups was the person we were using, the real estate agent that we were using was just terrible. She kept bringing us these horrible places that just did not fit our description. It's like she wasn't listening. So we went and got another person who had put breweries into spaces.
Okay.
And like the third place he showed us, we wasted like a year with her, like around a year trying to find a place. So like the third place this other guy shows us, boom, there we go, we're in.
Wow.
Bing bang boom.
So sometimes all you need to do is change the person you're dealing with.
Yes, for sure.
So now 6 years in.
6 years in.
Right?
Yes.
You have owned a brewery.
Oh.
So is this the first actual business that you've owned?
Well, besides being a pimp, it's not like I can file taxes.
Yeah, you can't file taxes for your stable of whores. No, you cannot do that.
I prefer to call them hoes.
Or can you say employees? Is that what that? Technically, are they?
Contractors.
Yeah, contractors. Because I guess you would have to issue W-2s and pay medical insurance and all that.
If they're captive employees, then I issue a W-2. As a contractor, it's 1099.
1099. There you go. There you go. See, so you learned something about pimping today, ain't
Yes.
that? An unintended lesson.
But pimping ain't easy.
It is. It is not. It is not. It is not. So I would ask during this process of these 6 years of ownership, right? Because business ownership, entrepreneurship is something, especially within the last few years, has gained a lot of traction with people. Mm-hmm. But people always ask, because I've had like a lot of entrepreneurs on my show, and I always ask, what's the real side of it for you? Because like people like to glamorize business ownership. So what are some of the pitfalls and some of the stuff that you've learned over these past 6 years of business ownership?
It is not glamorous. Managing people sucks. I hate trying to get adults to do stuff. It's very, very difficult. Thank God we got a good staff, and they're all pretty flexible. But heaven forbid you schedule somebody the wrong way, on a day that they don't want to be scheduled. I'm like, look, I've already made the schedule. You're going to have to get somebody to cover for you. You didn't ask for the day off. I tell you, put your days off a year in advance. I mean, you can go through there, but just that part and just the paperwork. And get yourself a good accountant. As smart as you think you are with numbers, you're not.
Yeah.
Get a good accountant, and that will let you sleep well at night.
Yeah, leave it to the professionals.
Definitely leave it to the professionals.
Yeah, because you don't want to end up in tax jail.
I do not want to end up in any kind of jail. I mean, as a pimp, I could have, but they never caught me.
Yeah. Well, you can have your host come bail you out,
Shit, they leave my ass in.
So, in terms of that, not only lessons you learned about business ownership, but has it taught you anything about yourself that you didn't know?
Oh my God. I always thought I wanted to own a bar, just a bar with drinks, mixed drinks, things like that. No.
Why not?
Because motherfuckers get drunk.
Motherfuckers do get drunk. That is actually the reason a lot of people go to bars is to get drunk
and want to fight. We'll try to fight the owner.
Oh, so has someone tried to fight you, Charles?
No, come on, look at me. Ain't nobody trying to fight me. But no, but just you just see that shit. They just people get drunk and belligerent. So we didn't. I realized I do not want that. I'm too grown. I'm too old to deal with shit like that. So I just want people to go home at 11 o'clock. Yeah. When I say last call at 10:45, you get your happy ass up and get out the door. Yeah. And so I can clean up and go home.
So we'll say most people that beer drinkers are more of happy drunks. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely know more than me because you own a brewery. So.
People aren't coming into the brewery to get drunk. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They aren't. They're usually coming in just to socialize, just to hang out. A lot of people are coming in with their kids. There's a swim club right next door. There's a baseball academy right down the street. Okay. So the dads drop their kids off. They come in. They have a beer they're like, I got an hour. Okay, let me get back, get a few beers, and then I'm out. So they just come in, moment alone. Some of them do a little bit of work. It's not the brewery's not like one of those hookup places either.
Right.
Nobody hooks up at the brewery. You are not going to meet your loved one there in any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't happen. It's just not that kind of vibe.
Yeah. It's because it's not like like you said, a bar. Places like people go to like really like have a good time, necessarily like hang out. Sometimes people may want to go like dance, have a jukebox or something, or that'd be more like a club or something like that, like a nightclub or something like that.
It's definitely not that vibe. There's just a socialization thing, and you got some people that just come in there, lonely guys that just come in there and hang out, and they chit chat with the other lonely guys.
The lonely people.
No, I wouldn't say lonely, but they're single. Adult males, and they don't have anybody in their life. They may not be lonely. Maybe that's the way they want it to be. But, But they come in, they socialize, they meet new people there, and they hang out and they become regulars and stuff like that.
So outside of people sometimes being drunk and belligerent, so you come in contact with a lot of people. on a daily basis.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So what would you say you've learned about people?
You know what? The funny thing is, I benefited from what I've learned about people. I learned about people when I was in the military.
Okay.
That's where I really, truly learned about people. And just because you're getting people from all walks of life in the military. And there's, you meet every personality type and you learn how to deal with them, to work together as a team. And so I'd learned how to recognize those types, and I put that to use in the brewery. So I know who I'm dealing with, and I know how to deal with them. And at the end of the day, everything's cool.
Nice. So it sounds like you got it pretty under wraps there, man.
I wouldn't say that, but I just don't let it stress me out. There's so many other things to be stressed out about.
Man, ain't that the truth?
Yes, it is the truth.
Yeah, man. Life will life you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, life will stress you the fuck out. So there's so many things, and especially like something like that. So would you consider like beer before this was more like a passion of yours that you've turned into something that has now become?
It was. I wouldn't say it was a passion. It was an opportunity that presented itself, and I like beer. I enjoy beer. I'm a fan of the beer. But yeah, this was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. Like I said, I thought I wanted to own a bar, but now I own a tap room and a brewery, and we make some fairly decent beer, I think.
So what would you say? Do you have like your best seller? Like do you have like a flagship
Midnight
beer
Fist Fight was our best seller last year.
Midnight Fist Fight. What is Midnight Fist Fight?
That's our hazy IPA.
Hazy IPA.
Hazy IPA.
People do love the IPAs.
People do love the IPAs. Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't just stick to IPAs. That's not all you're going to find on our menus. We got, brown, brown lagers, we got black lagers, we got regular lagers, we got Mexican lagers. Not that lagers are all we have, but we got golden ales, we have blonde ales, we have our sugar bomb. We have
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I definitely love the sugar bomb.
Yeah, we have our Stealing Sunshine, which is the blood orange sour that we have, and we just do all different types of beers because people want variety. Variety is the spice of life, and they know when they come in the Black Horizon, if they haven't been in for a month, they know that that beer menu will have completely turned over, and there's going to be something new up there or something that they like.
So so the Midnight Fist Fight is like a staple that you guys always have that?
We typically keep that on. And,
okay.
And if we don't have that on, then there's another hazy that we'll make. And
okay.
We had Come Haze with us that we did. It's a collaboration we did with, was it Windmill Brewing in Indiana?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I have noticed. The craft beer scene, it's kind of like a tight-knit community in a sense.
It is.
So there's a lot of collaboration that goes on. So how many collaborations have you guys done with other
15, 20 maybe.
Really?
Maybe more.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a lot, and Alex happens to be good friends with Jake, who's over at Windmill Brewing, in Indiana, and because Jake used to be at. Phase 3 bought the brewery.
Okay.
And I can't remember what the old name was, but he used to be there. And so we did a collaboration when Jake was there, and then he went over to the Indiana brewery, and him and Alex do collaborations together.
So you haven't always been a brewery owner, obviously, but you've been a drinker of beer for a long time.
I've been a drinker, yes.
Yeah. So I just remember a point in time, when I was a young pup, where you really just had like beer was like you had your Bud Light, your Budweiser, your Miller, your MGD, your Heinekens. It was your pretty standard beers, and then you really started to see this craft beer scene start to come up, right?
Yep.
And then it really just kind of like it exploded to the point where it's just like a lot of people that really drink beer, like they won't be caught dead with like a Budweiser, right? So do you remember, or do you have maybe a time where you remember like that transition, and what do you in your personal opinion, what do you think kind of like sparked that?
For me, that transition, I remember the transition. I was at Funky Buddha Lounge.
Funky Buddha Lounge.
Yes.
Talk about a blast from the past. That was one of my favorite places ever in life. R.I.P. to the Funky Buddha Lounge.
Yeah, Vince Adams was spinning that night. And,
Shout out to Vince Adams, also somebody that I know very well.
Yeah,
and
he's
awesome. Great DJ. Still spinning to this day, man. Vince still spins all over, man.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Vince Adams.
So he's spinning there at the Funky Buddha Lounge, and I go up to the bar, and I want a beer. Well, at the time I think I was drinking vodka on the rocks, like effing black cherry on the rocks, 2 lemon wedges. That was my drink at the time. But I didn't really feel like drinking that. So I wanted some beer, and so I'm looking in their beer cooler, and I see some Chimay in there.
Chimay.
Belgian. They make Belgian.
Okay,
beers,
okay.
So that's how I got turned on to Belgian ales. So yeah, I drink the Chimay, the maroon label Chimay. I can't remember the name of that one. There's the Sanson. There's the anyway. So I started drinking that one, and and it comes in this really cool glass. If they have the glass to put it in, it's like almost like a goblet.
Okay, yeah.
And so everybody's like, ooh, what's that you're drinking? What's that you're drinking? And so it strikes up a conversation, but it still tastes good, and it's like 7%. So I'm getting more bang for my buck than I would with trying to hydrate with some Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light crap.
Right.
And I wouldn't wash my socks in that shit.
And your socks would probably smell kind of horrible afterwards anyway if you did that.
Yeah, but that too.
Yeah. So what year would you say that was?
Oh my God! Quit aging me, man.
I'm sorry.
Let's just say that was the 2000s-ish.
To early mid
2000s.
Yeah, turn of the century. And now, so we guys are like, man, I mean, you have all of these microbreweries everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Craft breweries, and especially I feel like Chicago and Illinois, the Midwest, kind of like, because there are a lot up in Wisconsin, Michigan, which also is a wine country, but and I don't know if I may be speaking out of turn, but just from what I've seen, the Midwest has kind of become almost like a hub for that stuff. Would you agree?
You're speaking out of turn.
Okay.
No, I think we had more breweries per capita in the Chicagoland area, but you got places like Portland and Los Angeles, Texas has some great breweries down there. Atlanta, it's just all over now. You're finding those collections of breweries. Like, we're on the I-55 corridor, and there's within a 5-mile radius of us, there's probably about 8 or 9 breweries.
Oh, wow.
So, somebody comes into that area, they're going to try and hit all those breweries. And so if another one opens up, that's great, because that just brings more people into the area to come to our brewery. And they'll say, oh, yeah, I just did breweries near me, and yours popped up, and I walked in the door.
Nice. So not only has the craft beer scene exploded, but more recently, there have become a lot more black owned beer companies that have kind of come onto the scene. But for a while, you had the distinction of being the only black owned brewery in Illinois. Is that correct?
Yeah, because Vice District
Vice closed,
but they closed. Their partnership dissolved, and there was. So at the time it was just there was 18th Street over in Indiana. So Drew Fox over there, he existed before we did, but that's Indiana.
That's Indiana, not Illinois.
Yeah, so at one point we're the only black-owned brewery in Illinois. So now we're the only black-owned brewery in Illinois that has a physical location.
Right. So nobody else actually has a tap room.
I think most of them contract brew.
Okay.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. But there have been quite a few that have popped up over the last few years that I've noticed that the couple I think of off the top of my head is like Turner House.
Yep.
Moore's beer. Moore's has they've gotten kind of big pretty quickly.
Yeah,
actually.
they're out of 18th Street.
Yeah, I didn't realize
they
that.
They brew out of one of Drew Fox's old facilities. Yeah.
And then there's Funky Town, and Haymarket is now.
Yeah, because you got Sam and Jay and that brew at Haymarket.
Okay, yeah. So right. So he is actually the beer baron. Sam,
the Black Beer Baron.
The Black Beer Baron.
No, that's
Sam.
not Sam. That's Jay.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Sam. Excuse me. Don't hate me. I messed up. But yeah. So over these past few years, man, that's kind of like sprouted up. So it kind of happened a little bit after 2020, during the pandemic. Once again, like that kind of like that, it was almost like a focus on ownership for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So how, has that kind of benefited you guys as well? That boom, or has it kind of like been kind of static for you during that time?
I did a lot of interviews during COVID, during the shutdown.
Yeah.
A lot of people became interested in black-owned breweries and small craft breweries, and I'm and I just actually hate doing interviews. So the funny thing is I will never watch this interview. I will not. I hate the sound of my voice, so I will never watch it.
It's crazy because you're actually good at it. Like I told you before, I've seen a couple that you do, and you're pretty natural, man.
I know you can say that as much as you want, but I'm still not gonna watch it.
So do any of your other partners ever do any of the interviews?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Okay.
We'll do one. We did one with we did a video with Granger about how to brew beer.
Okay.
They have their how-to series. So
okay.
With them. So it was all three of us in that one. So it was fun to do, but I didn't see that either.
So you literally never watched it?
Never watched it.
So in terms of like, so within this now black beer community, you know what I'm saying? Like, so how do you feel like the collaboration is with?
It's great. We've done a lot of stuff together. We did the Chicago Uncommon beer with all those breweries that you mentioned.
Right.
And we're doing it again this year. We're actually going to be brewing it at Black Horizon.
Nice.
So, nice. I should bring you out there, and we should do a podcast there.
That would be awesome.
And then you get to talk to all of them.
And I think that we're kind of brainstorming here live. But my good friends over at Beers and Bars, they've also recorded OT and Kamal. Yeah. They're good guys. There might be something we might have to talk about with that. They might actually already be talking about it because that's really their space. For the Beers and Bars, and OT Otis is actually, man, he's really going into that. I don't want to say what the exact term is, but he's become like a sommelier for beer. Mm-hmm. Cicerone. Yeah, I know he's been studying for that. I'm not sure exactly where he is with it, man, but he's really, really gotten into it. So he's going to be an official beer snob if he's not already. So shout out to OT the Golden, shout out to Kamal Kiddo at Beers and Bars. If you haven't checked their podcast out, you should definitely do.
They're awesome.
Yeah, man, they're good guys. But yeah, man, and I know you guys did that Black is Beautiful a while ago as well.
We participated in the Black is Beautiful, so yeah.
So if for people that don't know what that was, can you kind of explain to people what that whole thing was about?
It was a whole right around the time of the whole George Floyd thing, and Weathered Souls down in San Antonio said, hey, let's all get together and let the world know that black is beautiful. This is what the label is going to be. This is what the recipe is. But everybody can do a spin on the recipe.
Okay.
But have this label, the same Black is Beautiful label, and let's just get the word out there, and just get us out there, and just let the world know that black is beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with it, nothing to be ashamed of, and
absolutely
not. Let's just have a good time and sell people some great beer.
So what was the spin that you guys put on it?
Oh, what did we do?
I remember I had it, and I remember it was delicious, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
I'd have to look at the label. I can't
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's fine.
Whatever it was
We've made
good.
So many beers. So, but that
So many beers, you can't remember them all.
I cannot remember the ingredients in all of them. But no, that was good. When we had fun making that beer, and we did a barrel aged version of it too. So
Nice.
So yeah, and then we brewed it again. I think we brewed it last year too.
Okay.
So we did another version of it. So it was awesome.
Yeah, man, it's been good to see, because it's crazy, because for a long time, well, even in the craft beer scene when it first started to become a big thing, for a long time you really didn't see people that look like us in that space.
No, you didn't.
So not only not even drinking it for a while. Like I would go to breweries, and it wouldn't be a lot of black people there. And now you can really see where you can have like these black brew events. I know I've gone to a couple that you were at.
That's just called going to the western suburbs, man. Come on now.
Yeah, but it really is cool to see. It's really been awesome to see that scene kind of become what it is, and I know it's only going to continue to grow. And it's really been awesome to see that. And then on top of that, fucking beer is delicious.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next festival down in Hyde Park. Where we can where we get more of us black brewers down there.
So so Summerfest is coming up. I don't know if you guys what is it? Summerfest is in June. Because I know they
Summerfest in Milwaukee or
no Hyde Park. So Hyde Park Summerfest. Yeah, not Summerfest in Milwaukee. Not to be confused. The Hyde Park Summerfest. They released a lineup a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be a lot of people. I know Robert Glasper is supposed to be there. The Clips is going to do a reunion there. A lot of big names, man. So I know last year they had like a beer garden. So
Yeah, and we I think we were talking about how we could do it differently and get some a better sponsorship, or just because I don't think people knew we were there.
Right.
So this year we want to make sure that we get the name out there and get it ready. I think that's why we're actually brewing the Uncommon again.
Okay,
it's going to be specifically for that.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, because it was pretty well attended last year. I can only imagine it's going to continue to grow. I know a lot of people, because that original the Hyde Park Brew Fest, it was free, and then they moved it to the Midway Plaisance, and then they started charging for it. People, I don't want to pay for it. It was free, and why I got to pay for it now? And
that's Midway Plaisance.
Midway Plaisance. I'm sorry.
No, Plaisance.
Plaisance. So not only am I getting educated in beer, I'm getting education in linguistics as well. But yeah, man. But I know it's going to be cool, and I know that's only going to continue to grow as well, man. So I got another question for you.
All right, shoot.
So now that you've been a brewery owner for the past 6 years, but you still have a full-time job.
Yeah.
On top of that, and it's not just a regular job. I mean, you're a network engineer for a pretty large firm.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what's the balancing act like, man?
God.
Like how does that work?
It's, you know what, I'm just happy that we've got our network so dialed in that we have great redundancy, and things rarely fall apart. So, knock on wood that I haven't jinxed myself, but and I have a great boss too, and he's extremely flexible. So
Really good guy.
yeah, very good guy, and so yeah, it's a tough balancing act, and plus we've stepped back a lot from our early days of the brewery, like the first year and a half, 2 years.
Because you were actually behind the bar for a while.
Yeah, it was the three of us, just the three of us working every shift. And we were only open Thursday through Sunday, but we still worked like every shift, two of us on like every shift. And so now we have, let's see, there's like 9 of us.
Oh, wow.
So me, Kevin, and Alex, and then the part-time employees, and we have Derek, who's our assistant brewer. So he's there, and he's a bartender too. So,
oh, nice.
But Derek started out as a customer.
Really?
Yeah, he was just one of the regulars.
Huh.
Yeah, and then we had him come in and and do some stuff, and then it just evolved into him becoming the assistant brewer. So,
Wow.
yes, yes.
That's a pretty cool story.
It's amazing, just how far he's come.
Right. So when did that start? Like when did he?
Oh my God, when did like year 2, maybe year 3,
Wow.
something like that. Yeah,
So come from customer to employee.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome. So with that still now that you've been able to expand your staff a little bit.
Yeah, so I get to step back a lot, and I work less shifts. And now I'm only, doing like the weekends or like a Friday night, and I'm fine with that. Maybe if somebody has to take off, I'll pick up their shift. So yeah.
Okay. So what is the next years of growth look like for Black Horizon? Like what kind of goals do you guys have set?
Well, our goal right now, we just hired a salesperson in January.
Okay.
He was actually one of our bartenders, who started out as a regular.
Wow.
And he became a bartender.
So you guys got multiple customers working for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's when somebody knows your customer service model, and they know how to treat the customers. So
There you go.
So we have a salesperson now. So we're looking into getting out into distribution. So right now we got 3 beers on tap at Bistro Prime in Hinsdale.
Okay, nice.
We got some beer at the Benny's in Oakbrook, and we got some beer at the Benny's in Willowbrook.
Oh, so bottled or canned?
Canned, yeah.
Canned?
Mhm, canned.
Oh, okay. Oh, what kind?
Just Dune Shaper, Crimson Pact. There was like 5. We have 5 on the shelf.
Oh, nice.
Of the Willowbrook Bennies. So,
Nice.
yeah. So we're just slowly getting out there, opening up those accounts, getting people to order beer regularly. Open Bottle, I think, in Clarendon Hills. A few other bottle shops in Arlington Heights, in Elmhurst. So yeah, it's just slowly just beep, 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 dropping those seeds. Grow some trees.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, so slowly but surely wins the race. We didn't want to be, like that brewery that opens up with big fanfare and blah, 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 and then just dies.
Right,
We just wanted to build our customer base in the tap room to create the demand out in the market, so they'll go to their liquor store or whatever, or Benny's, and say, hey, do you have any Black Horizon? Can you get any Black Horizon? And so we want to create that demand. We want to be the pretty girl at the dance that everybody asks to dance.
Yeah. So and then it really like becomes about the beer.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily about the marketing.
Yes.
Or like, just the name or just being kind of like the cool thing at the point. It just really is because like people like your beer.
Yes, exactly. And because you can open $1 million brewery, but if your beer sucks, you ain't gonna be open long.
Yeah.
Word gets around.
You just wasted $1 million pretty much.
You just wasted $1 million. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. It's been cool to see, like, from the start back in 2017, like where you guys are now, and just to see that like you said, you got staff now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You got cans in stores.
Yeah,
you got beers on.
That was a COVID thing when we started canning more.
Okay.
That was our pivot during COVID. Okay, we got to survive. So people will come in and fill their howlers and growlers, but we got to give them another option. So
that actually led. That's a perfect segue.
Yeah, I'm good like that.
because so a lot of businesses closed during COVID. They did not survive, right? So you being a tap room that at that time didn't have beers anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And you still managed to survive. So you just kind of like really almost answered the question. But could you elaborate a little bit on what that process was like? Like, so you open your brewery in 2017, things are going good. And then bam, COVID hits and everything shuts down.
So we build up a fan hoodomness, whatever, fan base, a loyal customer base. Mm-hmm. And they like our beer enough that they're not going to let us close. They're not going to see us closing. So, they're telling their friends. And we also did some partnerships too. We did Alinea. We were Alinea's Alinea to Go. We were their pickup spot in the western suburbs.
Okay.
So that's like big time.
Yeah.
Alinea is like, that's like Michelin star food.
Right.
And so that introduced a lot more different people to Black Horizon.
Okay.
That lived in the area but hadn't discovered us yet, because we didn't have the budget to advertise and let people know we're out there. So it's truly word of mouth.
Yeah, and so during that time, like all that stuff kind of came up, and it just allowed you to pivot and survive.
Yes, exactly, and of course we took advantage of the PPP loans and stuff like that, because you'd be a fool not to.
Of course, especially if you actually do own a business, because there are a lot of people that took advantage of those that did not own a business.
And that Lambo that it helped me get, awesome, thank you so much.
You say that now. You gonna fuck around and get a call like, Mr. St. Clair, heard you had a Lamborghini that you purchased with PPP loan funds.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, man, but it is great, because a lot of places really did not survive, especially places that were relatively new. So that really does speak to, like, for one, like you say, your level of customer service, and then just the quality of your product. That you say you had like this fan base that really just did not want you to see you guys leave.
And it was the fact also that we hadn't gotten that deep into distribution yet, because there was no place to distribute it to during COVID.
Right.
Because a lot of people had their beers in bars,
Right.
and they made a lot of their money on the distribution. So when that shut down,
they lost a lot of that, big chunk of revenue.
Yep. Bye, Felicia. That was a big chunk of revenue for a lot of them. So I'm kind of happy that we waited until after we got out of the pandemic.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like timing being a good.
Yeah. Timing was definitely on our side.
That's great, man. Well, I'm glad you guys didn't close.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because that was a wild time, man, for business owners, and just, obviously for people in general. And then, with all the regulations and all the stuff that, like, you can't open back up, but you can only have so many people. You can't have the people inside. And, it was just so that having to pivot around that, I know was a huge challenge.
Yeah, it was definitely a huge challenge. But, we made it. And, we're here. And hopefully we're not going anywhere anytime soon. Fingers and toes crossed. And I'm happy. I'm excited for our future.
Yeah, man, future is bright.
Gotta wear shades.
I knew you would finish.
I'm lame. I'm lame like
I knew you would. So before we wrap up, man, I really want to ask you. So it was a couple of questions, kind of like in the same vein. So you have Charles right now. And Charles, 10 years ago, that just brewed his first beer. So what would Charles right now tell Charles back then about this journey that he's about to embark on?
Don't get married.
That's not the answer I was expecting, but that's awesome.
No, I'm kidding.
Right.
What? You know what? That's the funny thing. The funny. I ask myself that question, and I've had this conversation with people before. Mm-hmm. They're like, if you can go back and do it all over again, what would you change? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and this sounds really lame. I wouldn't change anything, because I just think of causality, and this thing led to this thing, led to this thing, led to this thing, led to this thing. So if I change one of those things, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now, and I wouldn't be here talking to you about this right now. So, good or bad, whatever's happened to me in my past, it's made me what I am right now. I'm happy with where I am right now and who I am right now. So I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't go back and tell myself to change or do anything different. Maybe invest in Apple, or something like that. If I got some extra channeling,
Right.
Hey, that upstart Tesla,
Right. Oh yeah.
And hey, how about you do some Bitcoin mining? That's about it.
That could have helped.
Yeah.
That could have helped for sure. That could have helped for sure.
But other than that, it's like that butterfly effect. One little flap of butterfly's wing changes a whole continent away.
Yeah.
I'm just happy with the changes that have happened. Now, if I was in a shitty place in my life and I was, on the corner, smoking rocks, maybe then I'd go back and tell, 10 years ago, Charles, don't smoke that rock.
Yeah. Just don't take the first one, because everybody says like, just try it one time, But no, that it's never just once.
Yeah, just stick to heroin. Leave that rock alone.
Yeah, because everybody knows heroin is easier to quit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and nobody really gets addicted to heroin. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy talk.
So in that same vein, so we talked about a lot of people starting on this path, and these breweries are coming up. So you being kind of a bit of an OG in the game right now, what advice would you give to people that want to start? In specifically a brewery, but really just business in general. Like what advice would you give?
Know your product, know your market, know your customers, ask questions, constantly improve on what you're doing. Yeah. And just think of new ways to do the same thing that you're doing. Network, collaborate. We don't live in a vacuum here,
right?
So, and that's the crazy thing. I'm just going to go off on a little tangent here.
No. Take your time.
That's the crazy thing about our industry. It's like no other industry, because just think about it. Apple and Microsoft will never collaborate on anything.
No.
They're competitors.
Right.
We're actually competitors, and we get together and we make a beer. We have a beer baby. And we're happy about that, and we do it over and over and over again. No other industry do competitors collaborate.
That's true. I never thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and it's cool and it's fun and and it's crazy and exciting. So yeah, that's what I say when I network, get to know people, get to know the industry, and don't hate. And don't hate on your competition. Just see what they're doing, mimic it, or just pick up inspiration from what somebody else is doing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. They always say, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yes, it is.
So I'm sure people have imitated or borrowed things from you guys.
But then again, flattery is the highest form of flattery too.
I mean, there's nothing like that, right? Yeah, man. Well, this has been a pleasure, man. I'm glad we finally got a chance to do
me
it.
too, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on, man. Like I said, I not only just I enjoy your beer, man. But you're a good guy, man. Yeah. Like I said, you've helped me out so much. So I just really appreciate you, man. I'm just glad to see that things are growing, and I wish you guys much continued success. Oh, and before we go, you want to tell the people where exactly Black Horizon Brewery is located?
We are at 7560 South Quincy in Willowbrook, Illinois. So right off of I-55, take Route 83 to 75th Street, take a right on 75th Street to Quincy, take a right on Quincy. We are the second building on the right.
Yeah, it legit is right off of 55. Like once you get off, it's right there. Like it doesn't take long at all. And they have very awesome fucking beer.
And we have food trucks and we have live music and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you guys have like arcade games and board games and all that other stuff.
Games and just go to our website, blackhorizonbrewing.com, and we got our menu there. Got some pictures of the place, so it's easy to find us. There's a Target right behind us, so if you don't drink beer or your wife doesn't drink beer, she can go over there and grab a bottle of wine and bring it in.
There you go.
And hey, to you, congratulations on your new gig, man.
Oh, well, thank you.
I know you're going to do well.
All right, man. I appreciate that, man. You know,
And there's always room at home if you want to come back.
hey, you know, hey, man. Yeah, I hopefully, you know, I mean, well, I shouldn't say that because you know that was a huge part of my life for a while. I still have a lot of good friends over there, including yourself. So and it is nice to be able to still like talk to people, and it's you know it's different. You know, like when you're in a place where. You know, a lot of times it's lip service with like places that we work when you say people say they really care and stuff like that, and they really like care about you as a person. But that where we work at, the teams that we're on, the people really care. You know, they really care about you as a person. They really care about how like you and your family. Like when people ask how you are, how's your family, like they really mean it. So and places like that are rare. So I definitely miss it. And you know, who knows what the universe may bring my way, and what paths I may embark on. But you know, everything that I'm doing now, I know it wouldn't have happened had I not been there. And who knows, man, had I not worked with you in Atlanta,
probably would have had an easier life if you hadn't met me, man. So.
Yeah, man. I know there was that time, like when you took me to install those switches that time in Atlanta, and that was probably the most hours I have ever worked consecutively. Because we worked from like, what was it like, 8 a.m. to like 1 o'clock the next morning?
Yeah, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, and we didn't like, and we were working the whole time. I mean, we got some breakfast. We broke like 30 minutes for lunch. We broke like 30 minutes for dinner. And we were working that whole entire time, man. But it was fun. You know, it was, and I learned a lot. And you once again, it was something that you didn't have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have just done all that. You know, but that was just one of those. I wasn't gonna do all that work by myself.
You out of your mind? I was like, I can get this sucker to come to Atlanta with me, and I can make him appreciate it. I was like Tom Sawyer, and you were Huck Finn. I had you painting fences.
No, Daniel's son. That's cool. And so now I know the truth. In all these years, I thought you were just being nice to me, and here we are. I've been had this whole. No, man, but seriously, man, like I really appreciate that. Like I said, I definitely I wouldn't be doing this stuff if it wasn't for you, man. So once again, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming on. Go drink some beer at Black Horizon. Go buy. Where can you say they can get it now?
Benny's in Oakbrook. Benny's in Willowbrook. On tap at Bistro Prime in Hinsdale. Just come in and get it from us first.
That's first and foremost, and it's actually a good place. Like you know, it's a nice brewery, especially in the summertime because you guys have the outside area.
That's patio.
Yeah, you know, and it's kind of secluded. It's not like you know, well, I shouldn't say secluded, but it's in a very nice area, and it's kind of like it's not like a place where you're going to be around a lot of other folks. Like
well,
people
we do have the Red Roof Inn right behind us, and the Willowbrook Police does make a few visits there every once in a while.
I can't imagine why that would ever happen at the Red Roof Inn.
Well, hoes, man. Hoes.
Not your hose, though.
No, not mine. I kept mine corralled up.
The hose are not. You can't purchase the hose at Black Horizon Brewery. Just the beer. You have to reach out to Charles personally on another platform in order to get to his stable of hose. But if you want beer, then you come to the brewery and you go to blackhorizon.com, blackhorizonbrewing.com. I'm sorry,
blackhorizonbrewing.com.
blackhorizonbrewing.com. Make sure I put a link to that in the description. I also put the address in there so you can just go there, have some great beer. Like you said, if your girl doesn't drink beer, stop at the Target, get her a bottle of wine. You have food trucks, but you can also bring your own food in there.
Your own food. Yep.
Yeah.
Portillo's right down the street.
Oh, they opened a Portillo's out there?
It's been there.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's like literally 3 blocks away.
I had no idea that was out there.
Big old Portillo's.
Oh shit. Well, even there, and there's a what is that? The seafood spot. Papados is not that far from there.
Oh yes, Papados.
Yeah.
Right up 83. Yep.
Yeah. So if you want, you go, you leave your Papados and you come down and stop and have a beer afterwards.
The largest concentration of black people in the western suburbs. Papados.
I mean, every time it's like do white people even go to Papados? Do they know Papados exist?
They scared to go now. It's all us up in that piece.
And you know what's hilarious? We just talked about Atlanta. That was the first time I had ever gone to a Papados. When Felicia took us to
the one
in Atlanta. Yeah,
okay.
that one out there. I forgot what area. That was the first time I had ever gone to Papados. Yeah. And that was definitely, I mean, in Atlanta, of course, it was super black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, that was a good time. Shout out to Felicia, too.
What's up, Brooksy?
But yeah, man, this has been a blast. I really, really thank you for coming on, man.
My
Blessing
pleasure,
my
man.
platform.
Here to help.
Yeah, man, this has been awesome. And once again, much success. Go drink Black Horizon beer. Visit their brewery. And once again, to you guys, my loyal listeners, my subscribers, I always want to express my utmost gratitude and appreciation. There's so much content out there. There's so much stuff that you can view. So I never want to take for granted the fact that you would want to view mine. So I always want to say thank you. Continue to watch, continue to like, subscribe, tell all your uncles, cousins, aunties, your friends, your coworkers, and people that you don't like.
And them. Make
all
sure
of
you
it.
tell them.
And them, all of them. And them is an all-encompassing term. Yeah, man. And until next time, peace out.
Deuces.